I saw earlier in the week, and people who watch or listen to the program every day will know this well, that you published your 12 prescription, 12 items that we could do to basically take back America or make America work again. And I believe you'd like to go through them and then have people call in and with their thoughts on these things.
Here's the story, Tom. I think people who listen to the show have heard you and me talk, and many callers calling in about the very serious problems facing our country, which is the collapse of the middle class, growing income and wealth inequality, the loss of millions of manufacturing jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So we kind of have talked a lot about the problems, but it's equally important to talk about the solutions. Where do we go forward? What makes sense? How do you revitalize the American economy so that it works for the middle class and not just the millionaires and billionaires? So I was on the floor this week talking about 12 specific ideas, none of which, by the way, people will not have thought of. I mean, not the most radical ideas in the world. But if we were to carry these out, it would very significantly transform our country and especially the middle class of this country. So if you don't mind, let me just go through it. And if people want to call in during the course of the show to discuss these ideas and whether they like them or not, I'd love to discuss it. First thought, the truth is unemployment is not 5.8%. Real unemployment is over 11% if you include those people who have given up looking for work who are working part-time. If we invested $1 trillion in rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, and that's our roads, bridges, water systems, wastewater plants, rail, airports, all of which need work. The people who know most about it think that we should invest $3 trillion to bring our infrastructure up to par. If you did $1 trillion over a period of some years, we could create 13 million decent-paying jobs. And just imagine what America would look like, and all over the country. We're rebuilding our roads, rebuilding our rail system, making it much more efficient, having state-of-the-art water systems and wastewater plants, rebuilding our dams. What it would mean to America in terms of making us more efficient and productive, as well as putting millions of people back to work. So rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure and investing in that is something absolutely we need to do. Number two, I think that climate change is real. That's what the scientists overwhelmingly tell us. If we're going to preserve this planet for our kids and our grandchildren, we need to transform our energy system. And that means investing in energy efficiency and sustainable energy, making our homes and buildings much more energy efficient, and moving aggressively to wind, solar, geothermal, and other sustainable energies. And when you do that, the United States leads the world. We create new technologies. We also create jobs. But most importantly, we protect the planet for our kids and our grandchildren. Another area that interests me very much, and I'm excited about it, we're seeing a little bit of it here in Vermont, a little bit in Ohio, is the idea of worker ownership of businesses. And what we see sometimes is business guys who have started a business, they want to retire, and they don't want to see their plant or their business move to China. They want their workers to continue that business. We've got to make it easier for the workers and those business owners to be able to transform that business into a worker cooperative. Instead of giving tax breaks to corporations who want to move jobs to China, I think we should provide tax incentives to businesses that want to transform their company into a worker-owned enterprise. Clearly, in my view, history is not debatable on this, that workers who are members of unions, who are able to negotiate decent contracts and working conditions, do much better than non-union workers. Right now, it is, in fact, very, very hard because of employer opposition for workers to form unions. We want legislation that makes it possible for those workers, the majority of workers who sign a card saying they want to be in a union, to be in a union. It goes without saying that we have millions of workers in this country today who are struggling with horrendously low wages. We've got to raise the minimum wage to a livable wage. I was just at a rally in Washington, D.C. yesterday. I think there are about 150 of them all over the country, where workers are fighting for a higher minimum wage, for the right to join unions. Those workers who are working for companies that get government contracts in government buildings. I was out there with them in Washington, D.C., and they want to see the minimum wage raised to $15 an hour. They want to be able to join a union, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Clearly, when we talk about justice, it is not acceptable that women are making 78 cents on the dollar for what a man makes doing the exact same work. We need to make sure we have pay equity in this country, equal pay for equal work for women workers. I think an issue that you and I have talked about but is not talked about anywhere near enough is our disastrous trade policies. That is NAFTA, Permanent Normal Trade Relations with China, which have given a green light to many companies to shut down in America and move to low-wage countries. We have lost some 60,000 factories in the last 12 or 13 years. We need to have companies reinvesting in America and not in low-wage countries all over the world. So trade becomes a very important part, I think, of a serious an agenda to rebuild the American middle class. We live in a highly competitive global economy. We cannot compete effectively for good-paying jobs unless we have a well-educated workforce. Some years ago, the United States led the world in terms of the percentage of our people who graduated college. Today, we are in 12th place. Other countries understand the significance and the importance of making sure that their people, regardless of income, get a college education. We do not. So you're having college absolutely unaffordable for a lot of working-class families. Other young people are graduating college deeply, deeply in debt. That's crazy. It's not only unfair to the families and the individual young people, it is stupid for our economy. We want to encourage everybody who has the ability and the desire to get a higher education, no matter what their age is, no matter what their income is, to be able to do so. You know, it stuns me that 40, 50 years ago, some of the great public universities in this country, University of California, colleges in New York City, state colleges all over this country, tuition was virtually free. Virtually free. Anybody, regardless of income, could go. Today we have regressed significantly, and the cost of college is unaffordable for many. So we've got to address that issue and childcare as well. If you're a working mom today, it is very hard for you to find quality, affordable childcare. We have to deal with the disaster that is Wall Street. When you talk about the economy, we're not going to talk about significant changes in the economy unless you have a financial system whose job it is to get money out into the productive economy. The function of a bank is not an end in itself. It is to take money in and get money out into the productive economy to those businesses and institutes, businesses that are producing real goods and services, to help homeowners buy homes, to help people make the investments they need, not to be an island unto itself with the goal of making huge profits just for themselves. And what you see now is Wall Street and the major financial institutions are a world unto themselves whose only job is to make outrageous profits. Furthermore, what we have to do is reform our tax system so that the wealthy and large corporations pay their fair share of taxes. And we've got to protect the elderly and the sick. We have to not cut Social Security and Medicare. We have to expand those programs. So those are some of the areas that I think we can make some huge progress in and improve life for the middle class.
Brilliant.